Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm back. It's been a couple of weeks. Apologies. Been a bit sick. Had other couple of things going on, so haven't been able to sit down and make a video for a couple of weeks now. But promise this one will be packed with not just things that have happened this week. A couple of things happened during the last couple of weeks as well. So don't worry too much about that. Look, a bit of emotion for this one. Obviously, being a Para fan hasn't been great time at the moment for the club. It's all its supporters as a whole. Very hard to be frustrated by them. I'm trying not to focus too much on Para today. I look to have a bit of a wide range of things, not bore the non-Para fans of what's happening. Look, I will start on Para though. I want to just get that out of the way front early on. So look, the club obviously another thrashing at the end of the nights last night. I was there firsthand to watch it. Been there all year, probably still be there till the end of the year. Just love the punishment of supporting this side. Um, some interesting things that I've seen starting to come out, and some of the blames getting and put on Brad Arthur, the coach, at the moment. I think that's pretty unfair, if I'm to be honest about that. I don't think that it's solely his fault. Look, there is some certain things there that um, he has probably got to deal with. He said it himself in the press last night, but I think as a whole, it starts more so at the top. So you've got your Bernie Gers, then it's Max Donnelly. You've got to have a look and see what they're doing as a club as a whole now. Before I focus too much on say the on the field and the players, just quickly behind the scenes for some of those people that don't really know too much. So at the moment, the club's operating without a football manager, a head of football. Now, so everyone knows sort of what this role is about, in case you don't know too much about what the role is. So, say Penrith at the moment, probably the club going the best at the moment on top of the ladder. You got obviously the inspirational Phil Gould there as a head of football. Now that role there just sums up how important it is. They've got probably the most influential personality in the game as their head of football, helping out the coach, helping out the trainers, helping out everything. He overlooks the whole thing, the recruitment, everything there, and he's probably one of the most inspirational people in the game. Now, as a Parramatta man, I look at that, I'm very worried. We're probably the only club at the moment without a head of football, and it's showing on the field, showing off the field, showing as a whole organisation how much that is impacting us as a club. We've got a member in the media at the moment. I've just sat down and watched the Sunday Footy show. So you got Peter Sterling there. Now Peter Sterling's in the club at the moment. Peter Sterling is doing a 5 to 10 minute video every week, or 2 times a week. Sorry, one about the game and one talking about the game afterwards. So he'll review and preview each Parramatta game, and basically at the moment that's what he's doing is at the club. I look at him. He's my head of football. For the next 2 to 3 years, he's the guy that I employ to be the head of football, to be the feel good type role for our club. He's looking over everything. He can stay in the media, do all his media stuff as well. I'll sit down with him, basically go, mate, whatever you want, whatever you need, we will give you, but help this club move forward. Please do it. The club will benefit greatly from it. You got an influential member who every player knows, every supporter knows, everyone in the game knows about this guy. Everyone probably outside the game knows about this guy. He's been one of the biggest names in the game since the 80s. He's our Phil Gould. He's our Phil Gould. So get him on board. There's other past players at the moment that want to be involved with the club. You've got, say, Peter Wynn, running a successful business. Get him on board. Get him on the board. He knows how to run a business. He knows about the game. Get him on. Thank you very much. There's a couple of little steps there that we can get straight away. We've lost Peter Gentle. He's gone to South Sydney. Look at South Sydney go. Ronnie Palmer left. He's playing at the Tigers now. Look how they're going. There's a lot of key things at the moment, and these are things because at the top, Max Donnelly didn't want to spend the money. Didn't want to spend the extra bit of money to keep these guys there. Luke Burt's gone to the Titans. We're losing key members of the club because of small salary figures that the head of our club at the moment doesn't feel like it's worth spending money on. look at the results on the board, buddy. It's definitely worth spending money on. The team as a whole, quickly, it's hard to say too much about the team at the moment. Some of the players who are in at the moment are average first graders to reserve graders. That's how you see them. Now, we've got 10 to 12 people on our injury list at the moment, all of which would probably make our run-on first grade side. Take that away from any first grade side at the moment, they'll struggle to win a single game of rugby league. And that's exactly what's happening at the moment. Players are out on their feet after 15 to 20 minutes because they just can't handle it. Last night, for instance, we were down to 9 people on the bench at one stage. And you just got people like Penny Terapo, who wouldn't be in the team if it was a full-strength team, out there playing 50 to 60 minutes, and he just can't handle it. He cannot do it. I feel sorry for Brad Arthur. I sat next to him in the coach's box last night. I wasn't obviously in the coach's box, I was next door to it. Watching the people walk up the stairs with 25 minutes to go, 30 minutes to go in the game, the death stares that he was getting, I thought was absolutely disgusting. Supporters doing that, I don't condone what you're doing one bit. I think you're very disrespectful. The guy was there through thick and thin for the last couple of years. Look at the salary cap. Look at the guy who was there every day, protecting not just the players, but everyone in the club, fronting the media every day, doing interviews at 9 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock at night, doing almost 24-hour days he was. He was wrecked in the club. But now all of a sudden you all want to put him, stick a knife in his heart. It's absolutely disgusting, honestly. Have a look at yourselves in the mirror and have a real look at what's happening in this club. It's not him. It's above him, and it's the 17 players on the field at the moment. There's certain things that happen that when these injured players start to come back, we'll start to get our identity back and how we play football. We're talking about some full-on season professional first-grade footballers on the bench, or on the sidelines at the moment, who aren't there. Look at Norman. What he did on the weekend, drinking while injured. A lot of people probably look at that and go, look, he had a couple of drinks, whatever. There's a lot deeper to that than just going out in the drink. Now, this is a rule that was set by the players as a whole. There's issues there. If you're going out and disrespecting the culture of the club and the rules by the club that the club has made, this isn't something that the boss done. This isn't something that the coach said in. These sorts of rules are set by the playing group. So your Tim Manners, your Jared Haynes, your Clint Guthersons, your Michael Jennings. They're out there setting these rules for the club as a whole. When you're injured, everyone who does some sort of sport knows how much alcohol can impact your recovery and things like that. So as soon as they've set that rule in place, he's gone ahead and disrespected his own playing group. That's a certain barrier here that he's now crossed. And I'm sorry, we've got to get this guy out of the club ASAP. He's part of this culture change that it needs to change dramatically. And things like that just isn't tolerated in the club anymore. Apparently he has said apologies to the players, but no, it's been 3, 4, 5 strikes at the moment, and it is time to go. So we're good to see the back of him. Now look, I don't want to spend too much on Paris, so let's move on. Even though there's probably still plenty I can talk about with them. Just fire your questions through, and I'll look to do another one during the week and answer any of the questions. The game as a whole, but I want to have a quick mention on this. So, when I say the game as a whole, I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about the referees. I'm talking about the way the game is being played. I'm mainly talking about Todd Greenberg. I've been a big believer that he's not the man for the job for quite some time. For a lot of people I've talked to, they know about this. I'd do 15 to 20 regular chats probably per week with people about the game. So, a lot of people on here that listen already know my views about a lot of these things. But for mine, he isn't the man for the job. The game for mine has gone that far downhill in the last 2 years, it's not funny. And any business that has this sort of decline, you generally see things like the CEOs, the managers gone. He's still there, and I don't understand how he can do it. Look at this weekend, look at the crowd figures. Not a single crowd so far. We've had 3 games, have been over 10,000 in the crowd. Now that is embarrassing for a professional game to have nothing but above 10,000. There's some serious issues in this game. Look at the referees. Now let's just talk quickly about last night's instance. Michael Jennings went to the sin bin for a professional foul. Now, I personally don't think it was a sin bin, but if that's the way they're going to rule it, that's the way they're going to rule it. Now, 15 minutes later in that game, a para player got taken out. Pretty much exactly the same thing. The Knights player went out of his way to dodge off Hoffman from the ball while he was going for the ball, swung his arm out. Not even a penalty. Not even a penalty. Now, I was happy to live with it. But the fact that 15 minutes prior to that, we had a player given 10 in the bin, does not cut it anymore. These referees are having that much of an impact on the game. It's unbelievable. Now, I don't know another game, another professional sporting game in the world, not just Australia, in the world, where the referees have such a say on the results, and there's some serious thing that has to be asked. Bill Harrigan should be the head ref. Now, I don't care what anyone says, Bernie Gurr should not be the head of referees. Bill Harrigan's the guy for the job. Take Phil Gould up on his thing where he said he'd do it for a year for free. Take him up on it. Mate, he doesn't even have to be the head. I'd say Bill Harrigan can do it. Get Phil Gould in and around it for a year and watch everything change dramatically. Now, Origin's up on the weekend. We'll have a quick chat about Origin in a minute, but at the start of the year, there was 20 to 30 penalties in the game. Todd Greenberg was questioned about this, saying the game is not become the spectacle it has been in the past. He said, look, a couple of weeks' time, that will all change because now the players will know they'll get penalised for it, they'll get points against them, things like that. It'll change. There won't be any more penalties after a couple of weeks. It's now round 13, mate, and the penalty counts have not changed. It is still 20 to 30 penalties in each game. Nothing has changed from what you've said. So for mine, it doesn't make too much sense. I don't know what you're doing as a whole in this game at the moment. A lot of fans don't understand what's going on. You're losing. You're not gaining any fans. This is the problem. You're not gaining any new fans. Whatever you're setting out to do, you're not doing it. But you're also losing passionate fans that have been fans of the game for some time. Lots of people these days are not watching the game, and I know that firsthand. Some people I know who have watched the game for so long, lucky to just watch their team every week, let alone other games where a couple of years ago they'd be watching 5-6 games a week. I still watch most of the games every week, but I'm getting to that stage now where the game has lost itself, it's lost its vision, it's lost its personality. There's a little rule at the moment where I sit back and have a look at the game. So the team scores, the conversion, teams walk up, put the ball down on the halfway line to kick off. What happens? We're sitting there. They're sitting there for 10 seconds looking at the big screen. I'm thinking, what's going on here? There's a clock. There's a 30-second clock from when the player converts the try to when the conversion's allowed. So we literally are encouraging players to stand around for 10 to 15 seconds waiting where we could have had 10 to 15 seconds of action. This is happening on basically every kickoff at the moment. Little things like that, I do not understand where it's going. One last thing on just how the game is run. Look, there's a lot of things I want to talk about, guys, but I'm not going to talk about it because for now there's too much and I don't want the video to go too long. These late hits on playmakers, on just players in general, needs to be rubbed out of this game from today. There needs to be a strong stance by, once again, Todd Greenberg and the head of referees. Any player, like the guy who's done this on Thursday night, Gretzky or whatever his name was, from Manly on Thurston, he's got 1 week. He takes an early plea, he's got 1 week. He could have caused some serious issues. Oh, look, here we go. He's not going to go, he's just going to sit there, but we'll just let that happen. He's got there on Thurston, and what has happened there, he could have got some serious injury issues there Thurston, but he hasn't done so. So what he's done there, if you're going to come in, you can have a chat, but I'm talking about your player at the moment, actually, mate. If you wanted to come in and have a bit of a chat, he's coming in. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this, actually, mate. Adam Roney, by the way, guys, guest speaker. What is he, Grasky or Growski? Or what's your young second rower's name? Don't know.
Jack Grzeski.
There we go.
Yeah.
What do you think of his late hit on the weekend?
Mate, it's not nipple.
Oh, yeah, not netball. So you're all for the late hits?
No, we'll let the officials adjudicate
Yeah.
when necessary.
So one
What's
week
the
is
difference?
one
We don't
week's
have to carry on with it.
one
It's
week's
football.
1 week's okay, or what do you
Well,
think?
you do whatever. 1 week, 2 weeks, no weeks, who
No,
cares?
no, all right, no worries.
Mate, he's injured for 4 weeks anyway.
I'm against
so.
it. I think there could be some serious injuries
No.
happening with this.
No problem.
So I think
It's
there'd
not
be a bit of
netball,
change. So
He's playing football.
I know you're playing football, but the guys aren't looking. So you've got to look at.
Oh, well, protect yourself.
They-
Well, what about all these other guys like Peter Sterling, Steve
Yeah.
Mortimer, and all the other guys that went through all the rubbish that, and these guys are protected. Big deal, mate. Seriously, we're in a sensitive world. Absolutely sensitive world. Carry
There's
on,
the
we're playing
to the
football.
people. We're in a sensitive world at the moment,
Oh,
guys.
well, move on. Next.
All right, let's have it.
What's on your next list, mate?
I want to talk a bit about Origin quickly.
Yep.
Obviously, a big game coming up this
Great.
week.
Yeah, good.
This could be a changing of the guard, many are saying.
Yeah,
Could
good.
be a dynasty for the Blues.
Yeah.
What's your views on that? Are you like the Blues team at the moment, or what?
Yeah, mate, it makes it interesting. But if Queensland aren't winning, then Origin's dead.
North of the border, don't bother coming out.
If New South Wales won the last 10 Origins, then Origin would be a farce. But this is all built for a good contest this year. Freddie's plays off the cuff,
Yep.
mate, and I can't wait for he's bringing the old brigade back, and it's like someone said the other day. I think Ricky Stewart said on NRL 360. He said the players let Laurie Daly down. No, I was spot on. I think football these days they don't have that loyalty. They don't have that finesse of working hard, sticking solid with your team, and
Yep.
and Laurie Daly was all about that, and didn't show that in the last couple of years, and I felt sorry for Laurie Daly.
I think you make some very good points there. I think the big point you make there is the fact that Bradford has brought in some of these past players that, especially the players nowadays that are playing, they've probably lived up watching and respected so much. So you've got Johns in there, Alexander obviously, with Freddie leading the brigade is massive. And I think that could be a real, as I said, changing the guard for the Blues moving forward, having those influential type figures in the game. Where do you reckon it's going to be won on the weekend? On Wednesday night, backs or the forwards?
What was the question?
Where do you think it's going to be won on Wednesday night? There's a lot of talk about our back line.
Football's about forwards, mate.
Yep.
You can't win the forwards. How can the backs do anything? So,
Yep.
Anyway, that's it's going to be a good contest. Like you said, changing the guard. Queensland are the underdogs, like they always want to be, and they've been on the underdogs since 2006, and they won 10 in a row.
Yep.
So, it's about time that we've just got to change our mentality. I think, if anything, all of them can play football. It's just about your headspace. So, all good.
I think you make some good points. Are you worried about the two deputans in the 7
No.
and 9?
No.
Not a worry.
These guys can play football.
Showing form.
It's all about their head.
I think you're very right there, mate.
Very right.
I think you are. Queensland backline for mine is a bit of a worry. They've got a lot of experience there. They've basically all were the Australian backline last summer in the World Cup. So I would like our speed. Obviously, our forwards, as you said, need to make a bit of inroads to get not necessarily our backs just in space out wide, but you can bring in Roberts and things like that to sniff around the ruck and see what they can find with these tied Queensland forwards at the back half of each half. But I think attacking them backs against backs is going to be a bit of a problem there. So, lastly, for yourself, I know you're not. We've got a lot of Parramatta viewers. I've already talked about this in this video, but as a non-Para man, it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts on the club itself. And obviously, as a Manly supporter, you've got your own sort of things you'd like to deal with in club. But what do you think of Parramatta at the moment? Where do you think the problems are lying?
I've got a vested interest in Parramatta. I hate Parramatta as a football team. I've always had it since I was a kid. But that's not to say I hate the Parramatta Rugby League, what they're about and what they stand for, because my two kids play for Parramatta in the Parramatta district. Where they've got it wrong is the coaching in the junior level, and the different people are in and around their coaching to try and drive these kids in a direction so they can stay around Parramatta. Back in the day when Peter Sterling was around, and they drove him, from Wagga Wagga out to Fairfield Pats, and the guys that was around my age that played for Parramatta Football Club. Joey Grimer was another guy that wanted to put the Parramatta jersey on. I just think that's gone. We need to get our kids aspiring to that. Just of late, in the last year or so, 1,000 kids in the Parramatta district have left. We're not valuing the Parramatta jersey as much as we used to. I don't like that, because I actually hated Parramatta because I was so good with their fans and stuff like that. And now it's sort of showing I've got no one to rub anyone off the wrong way.
You feel sorry for us now. That's a worry.
And now I just think we sort of need to get the old footballers back, and the old people that wanted to play Harold Matts and SG Ball. Now, I'm not a football fan. I used to play cricket in the Parramatta district as well, and it was the same problem. But now I just think with football, if you've got 1,000 kids leaving your district, you've sort of got a sort of problem. It's not just at one club; it's at all the clubs. The direction's not the same. You know, it all stems from the top. So that's only my thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor or rocket science. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know. I've got some ideas on how to fix it, but the thing is, like, it's got to be a whole group exercise to grow this, and we've got to help Brad Arthur. Brad Arthur, he's trying to, and his football staff is trying to grow this. You know, and he's a Parramatta junior with all his mates that used to play in the Parramatta district. He's trying to do his best with very limited resources, and I don't think he's, everyone's, going, let's blame the coaching staff, let's blame the players. No, we're not. We shouldn't be. We should be supporting these players through this hard time. And it's hard enough saying that because I'm a Manly fan, and Manly doing the same thing. Football's going to die if we don't have these things situated and these problems sorted out very quickly, because we're going to lose juniors to the game. They're going to go to play AFL and they got more money than us. I love this game. I want to hate Parramatta again. I can't see myself doing that in the short to different future. And we need to sort it out, not just only as players and coaching staff and stuff. Fans have got to come on board, and we've got to value this jersey more. I've got a young kid that's 6, and he loves his Parramatta jersey. He loves King Gutho, and I don't want to ruin that dream for him. And that's what it's about. So we just got to make sure that if we're going to coach from the under 6s to the under 17s and A grade, you name it, we're all coaching the same way. We're all valuing the jersey the same way, and and let us aspire to be Parramatta players again, and not bag each other. Old players should be coming back, like your Peter Windsor, Ray Prices and stuff like that. And let's hear what they think should be the ones, and what it meant to put on a Parramatta jersey. I still remember when my dad, the 83 run grand final, and my dad went to the Leagues Club and got a signed signature from Peter Sterling, and he's still got that in his wallet. I can't believe he still got it, but I still remember him showing me that. And I was going for Parramatta at the time before I changed teams, but at the same time, that meant heaps to me, and I still remember it to the day, and that's what your kids want to think about. So there's a lot of things that need to change, and we're going to help. We're going to help as a group, and if this is going to help drive things moving forward in the rugby league community, and we're coaching similar ways and making it more fun to be in the Parramatta area, let's have a go.
I think he's touched on a lot of good points there. Something that probably a lot of people don't understand about Brad Arthur is that we were both involved with, he was coaching Wentworth Vale as a trainer a couple of years ago. This is going back on. This is when Brad Arthur just got the job. He was still out there at the junior grades, and he was watching, say, the under 8s, under 9s. He'd be out there from 8 o'clock in the morning. Then he'd go to Parramatta training, come back and watch his other sons play. Like, he's a true Parramatta man. So as I think we're both trying to say, is that he does need the help. He is the Parramatta man. He's the right man for the job, and he's trying his heart out. He's definitely trying his heart out, and I want the Manly fans to hate us again. I want us to be in a grand final again, and at the moment it doesn't look like either club is pretty going to be close to that for a while, at least anyway. Obviously, a Manly fan. There is a couple of Manly fans out there. So, any views on how your Manly Sea Eagles going at the moment? Seen on Thursday night.
Same issue. Same issue. He's got limited resources, and he's probably taken the second tier Parramatta players in the juniors going to Manly, and they're doing different things with them. So that's how it goes. That's football. That's improvement in juniors, and then other people are saying different things, and that's how it goes. That's the nature of the beast. But you're if you've got all these players coming out of Parramatta, and they're the ones that you want to stick with, you've got to stick with them.
I think there's a big point there is the fact that people who don't understand the junior systems too well, we've now got our greatest rival, Manly Sea Eagles, at our doorstep in our junior system at Blacktown. Now, for mine, I look at that, and that is a massive worry. They know where the talent is. Every club knows where the talent is. Us and Penrith have been the leaders of the juniors for quite some time, and we've allowed our biggest rival to come in and taken half our juniors in one season.
Yeah, but there's no point of crying about it.
There's no point of crying. That's what I mean. There needs to be something done about it. I'm not crying about it.
Need structure.
That's good work to Manly to look at that. That's very good work for Manly seeing that, and that's what I'm trying to say. That's a big worry for us. Now, just last thing on Manly, I think I want to get some thoughts on this guy for Cherry Evans. I've been pretty vocal with him in the past. I don't necessarily think he's the guy for the big money. I think he has too many off games to command that top dollar. Obviously, there's something going wrong there with Queensland. There is not being mentioned. But are you happy with Cherry Evans moving forward with this 8-year deal or something that he signed 2 years ago, and he's still got six to?
Yeah, absolutely. It's cheap. He's going to stay there for 8 years. Well, it is. You've got to look at it over 10 years.
Yeah.
If Parramatta were to sign Cherry Evans for 10 years, they'd do the same thing. If Manly didn't sign, someone else would have signed him. So it's a real estate proposition. It's not a here and there. Cherry Evans is doing this on his own. He doesn't have a Kieran Foran. When they won the comp, Kieran moved on. Kieran, he's not finding his feet at the moment with Canterbury. He had to go at the Warriors, and football's a funny game. You go in and out, and Cherry Evans is finding his feet at the moment. He needs to find a different tune. You've got to get his rhythm back, and he'll come good. And the football team are not that far off. It's just trying to get the same team on the park all the time, and that's football. That's a game of chess. And we need to, Manly will come good. It's just Parramatta got to do the same. They're gonna get a Peter Sterling for 10 years and stick with him and be not only a football player and ambassador for Parramatta. But Cherry Evans is okay. No, he's all right. I know people don't like him for what he represents. But if you meet the player, he's not a bad kid, and he's going through some issues at the moment with the football team, and the club is probably in similar circumstances with Parramatta. But he's a good guy. He thinks about everyone else bar himself, and he's always willing to help kids move forward. And you've got to meet these guys. They're only footballers at the end of the day. They're not doctors or rocket scientists. I don't know how much pressure these kids have got on them, and we've got to help them out.
Thanks for that one, buddy. I really enjoyed that one. You also got the two Trbojevic brothers there that, if they're in any club, I feel like could be powerhouses for the next couple of years. They're great players, and we're going to see that, especially on Wednesday night. I think the key thing, especially, it was said today on the footy show, especially that Tom especially is one of those guys you just need in your club. So whatever position he plays, like he's not obviously a winger, but you just need to put him there because things are going to happen, and he can come in and float around during the game, and you've got him and Tedesco doing the same thing. I tell you what, you don't want to be a Queensland forward on Wednesday night because there's going to be some trouble there. Any last thoughts, mate, before we sign off?
No.
Any hellos to anyone out there?
No. Take the focus off me. This is a really good chat.
Okay.
I know we're up against it with
we've got some competitors out there.
Greg and his Super League in that department. John Fazio getting car accidents while he's halfway through a thing. But cheer out to
cheer out the competitors.
Cheer out to you guys. But at the end of the day, we're all about here to work with juniors and getting footballers to a right level with their headspace. And if we can help these guys, these kids on their journey, and without too much issues, I think the vehicle is heading in the right direction.
It starts from the top down to the bottom, guys, as a club as a whole. So it's not just your first grade club out there, it's also a lot of other things that are happening as well. So thanks for the guest appearance, mate. We look to take you on board a lot more, Mr. Adam Moroney, everyone. Cheerio. I'll have another video coming probably during the week. Once I get to Origin, I'm going there to the MCG. Pumped, can't wait. And enjoy your Sunday, guys.